कभी वो कहावत सुनी है, पैरों तले ज़मीन पे खिसकना या ज़िंदगी रुक जाना? मैंने फील किया है. The year was 2017 and I was working in a startup. So one day my boss called me in her office and said कि अंकित बैठो, I need to talk to you about something. Pretty nervous. So I sat down and then she looked at me and said very slowly, Ankit, listen, our company is going through a restructuring. It's a startup, so there has to be certain things that needs to be taken care of by the management. There will be job cuts that are already happening. There will be more job cuts that are going to happen in the near future. For now, your job is safe, but I would suggest you to start looking for a new job. And then she said something which actually hit me more, which was, she said that I am also looking out for a new job. So I sat there silent, numb, thinking कि ये क्या हो गया? कल तक तो सब सही था. Everything was going fine. My performance was very good. And then she said कि okay, go start updating your resume. The year was 2017, as I mentioned earlier, and I had no clue what to do now, because the market was not that bad, but it is not very easy to find a job at, with like no effort. It takes months and months to update your resume, to go to interviews and all. Once I realized that the victim mindset will not help me, I started thinking that what can I do now? And there is one option to find a new job, which is a regular option, which everyone will do in this situation. I also did the same thing. I started looking out for a new job, but at the same time I realized that this will happen again. People will call me in their office and they say, ki Ankit, find a new job, start looking for a new role, or maybe you are not fit for this role, we made a mistake in hiring you. This happens every time with all of us. If you are a student today, tomorrow you will be in a job. This is going to happen to you once in your lifetime. This is the law of nature. This is the law of employment. And the problem is that when you give the power to, when you give the power of your life in somebody else's hand, like your employer, like your company, then obviously they can decide your future, and you have no right to play the victim card. You have no right. You can cry obviously, but you cannot just say that why did this happen to me. So then I started thinking that how can I take this power back? So I went back to what I was good at. I was good at a couple of things that I realized that, okay, I can use these skills to create something of my own. One of which was writing. So I used to write books. I published a couple of books in 2010, 11, 12. And it was a massive failure. So I sold only 17 copies of that book. 17 copies, I wrote it, and that book took me 4 years to write. So it sold 17 copies, but those 17 copies were bought by by people who didn't know me as a person. Because I never told this to my family that I'm doing this. But those 17 copies gave me the way that, okay, this can be done. There are people out there who can buy my book, but I need to be strategic. I need to think this through. I need to work on this strategy. Then it took me 1.5 years to learn from people who are doing this right. I also learn from people who are doing other things right in their creative career. So not everyone is an author. The people whom I learned, not everyone is an author. But they are doing something which is in the creative field, and they do it day in, day out. So this was the result of my 1.5 years of research. In 2019, I published a new series, which was this one. But the market was US, UK, Canada, Australia. I knew that my name will not work. My name will actually act as a hindrance. If I publish these books under my name, the name was Chase Austin. The second thing I did was, because I was targeting US, UK, other markets, just because my name is an Indian name which they don't understand, which they don't recognize, it should not make them leave the book on their cart. So till now I've written 20 plus books. Some of them have been bestsellers in US, UK, Australia, India. Not India, I don't sell in India much, but yeah, US, UK, Australia, Canada. This was the series that made me who I am today. I left my job in 2020 November when I felt that I could not handle both my job and my writing simultaneously. Right? The thing is, this is not some rocket science. We all can do it. You might not be an author, you might not be a writer, but you can. There are multiple ways that you can do it. And I think tomorrow when you are going out for a job, going sitting in an interview, you should always think that this is a temporary thing, right? So what is a side hustle? Side hustle is something, so when you work for a company, the company has a client, they take projects from those clients, they hire you, you do the work, right? And then they pay you a salary, they take money from the client, and then they give the money, they pay some of it to you as your salary. The thing is, when you remove the company from this equation, you handle with the clients directly, you create your own products, you sell it to your interested customers, the consumers, and then you take money from them. That is a side hustle, right? Why having a side hustle today is a must? Because you know how many people graduate in India every year? Like some of you might be graduating this year, some of you might be graduating next year, some of you might be going to do your MBAs or whatever, some other educational degree next year, right? Or this year maybe. In India, there are 65 lakh graduates that pass out every year. 15 lakhs are engineers, 3 lakhs are MBAs. And then there is a backlog of people who are still looking out for a job from last year's batch. They haven't got the job. And then there will be people who are looking out for jobs from last 2 years, right? So there is a huge backlog of students who are looking for a job, and there are not enough jobs in India, not even in the world. Because the old script is, so when you see the old script, which is study well, get good grades, find a new job, find a good job, go and maybe Google might hire you, right? Find a good job, your life is set. So the old script is outdated. There are a lot of people who are looking out for a job. You probably will be one of them, or some of other people who are looking for jobs, right? So the thing is, I'm not saying don't do the job. I'm saying go for the jobs. Sit in the interviews, find a job, find a good salary package, but also keep upskilling yourself. Try to find how you can monetize your passion. You must have some passions, right? And there are a lot of platforms today that help you monetize those passions. You must have seen Instagrammers, YouTubers, people like Karan Khanna sitting here. So there are people who are doing what they love and they are making money and they are monetizing it. They are making a living out of it, and it is very easily doable. You cannot just say that, okay, this is not 22,000, this is 2024. There are different ways to do it. But there is a sad reality behind it also, that not everyone who is doing it is able to sustain him or herself, right? There's a small percentage of people who are able to do it consistently over a long period of time. So that's why I'm saying keep a job, have a job, look for a job, but also don't depend on it. Always try to create multiple income streams. Apple began as a side hustle. Apple is a $3 trillion company today. It began as a side hustle by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak in Steve Jobs' parents' garage. And at that time, Steve Jobs was working in Atari. Atari was a video game company. Steve Wozniak was working in HP, which was a computer company. And they worked probably for 6 years, 7 years before they launched their first product, which was Apple I. So they were doing this thing. Apart from this, they were working their day jobs, which was 9 to 5. They were earning their salaries, and then they were working in their garage to create this computer, Apple I, which they launched in 1976. Today, Apple is a $3 trillion company. So side hustle is not something which you do on sides. You can do on sides, but eventually it will become so big that you might have to start a company, you might have to hire people, or you might not want to hire people. That is obviously up to you. But again, the possibilities are endless. Facebook was also a side hustle, Mark Zuckerberg started a website called Face Mesh in his college. The website was built to compare two college students against themselves. The Harvard or the Stanford, I don't know where he studied from, but the college objected to it. The site was shut down in 2 days. But that site gave him the idea of Facebook. And then he, with his friends, created this website called The Facebook at that time. Now it is called Facebook. Under Armour is a sports company. You must have seen its showrooms in India in multiple malls. It started as a side hustle. The founder was a college football player. He wanted something to wear while he's playing, which was not sticking because of sweat. So he created this brand or this this type of clothing which was built under this brand name, Under Armour. Instagram was a side hustle. Twitter was a side hustle. Then so these are companies who started because their founders were working in their jobs, but they wanted more than what they were doing at their job, and they started these things, and now they become companies, they have become founders. You read what they have to say today, you hear their interviews and all the time. So these are the things that you can do, but they all started with a small side hustle project. Will my framework work for you? Absolutely, because it is not my framework, it is a framework which has been used by multiple people in multiple countries. And because of the use of internet and a laptop and some creative solution, if you have these three, you can do this. If anyone says to you that, okay, but side hustle is something, I don't know, man. I know this much. I know that, okay, this is my work. My manager tells me what to do, I do it. Or my teacher tells me what to do, I do. And that's it. I go home and I sleep, I play, whatever I want to do, I do. My first book, my first book was published in 2010. It was rejected by Penguin, HarperCollins, Random House, everybody, almost 30-40 times, because I kept on sending the same thing or maybe updated thing to them again and again, and they kept on rejecting me. So rejection is something, so I'm not a genius, right? But the thing is that you fail, but you keep on persisting, you keep on updating yourself, you keep on, because first time if you are doing it, it is not going to be the best thing unless you are the genius. You might be, one of you might be the genius, I don't know, but most of us are not. So this is something which can be done by normal people who have an average IQ, who are average people, who have limited resources. This can be done. You don't need high-end devices. You don't need a camera or high-end camera. If you want to start a YouTube channel, you don't need a high-end camera. People start their YouTube channel from their phone also, right? You don't need a lot of money to start. You don't need a big team to start. You don't need any of these things. You can start with a laptop, sitting in your bedroom or whatever in your hostel room. You can start creating content. You can start creating, thinking about a product and creating it. And it will eventually happen. You will find your audience. There are 1.4 billion people in India. There are 7 billion people in the world. Do you think you cannot find 200 people who will buy a product from you? Or 100 people? You think, or maybe 1,000 people? I think you can find 1,000 people who will buy products from you on an ongoing basis that will sustain you for a long term. What you actually need is consistency, persistence. You need to be consistent. It will not, nothing like this happens overnight. It takes time, it takes consistent effort, it takes consistent upskilling of your skills. How to find your money-making idea? This is very important. See, the thing is that you do a lot of things in your life, but there are 4 things that can help you find your money-making idea. Number 1 is, what is your current skill set? You must have some skill set, right? Either you are a student, if you are in a job, if you are not in a job, if you are a student, or maybe if you are looking for a job, right? So there are skill sets that you have, that you possess, right? And you can leverage those to see maybe somebody needs some help on those areas, right? The second way is from your hobbies or passion. If you have a hobby or passion that you can showcase, that you can, for example, if you have a hobby of gardening, can you create some content around it? Can you create a YouTube channel around it? Like a roof garden. People want roof gardens, right? If you can create a channel around it and then probably start monetizing it, that is second way. Third way is, what people consider you as an expert. Some of you might be good at writing love letters. If not, some of you might be good at writing stories. Some of you might be good at videography, art, anything else. Some of you might be good in speaking, right? You can convince anyone. These are your expertise that people consider you for, but these are not used in your job, in your college, in your schools, right? College, schools, job doesn't they don't want your art, but maybe there are people who, in your friend circle, in your family or relatives who want you to give your expertise on these areas. And the fourth thing is your curiosity. There are certain skills that you will need, like sales, like copywriting, which you might not know right now, but if you are curious enough, you can learn them, right? So these are the 4 ways. Yeah. So I think this is one way. Now, how to get paying clients for free? You can get paying clients for free via social media, via YouTube, so there are multiple ways, right? Where you can find your client base, and I think that is, and there are multiple channels you can do that. And then you have to do is, what you have to do is, you have to rinse and repeat. You have to keep on doing this. The thing is, this thing will happen, but it will take time, it takes persistence. So keep on, if you want to do something, keep at it for at least 12 months to 24 months. It will happen, and that is the message for today. Thank you.